Podcast. I'm your host, No Name Walk. If y'all see the frustration on my face, you understand about technology and how long it took me to get this going.
It's been about an hour. Like I said, the sign of professional. You fix the problem. And it's a good thing you don't charge by the hour.
I'm okay. So enough of me being mad about the damn technology, this whole damn thing. Because if I can take a couple of baseball bats and my shotgun, I'll go to work right by now. But it's the end of 2025. I'm trying to turn a new leaf into 26. I'm trying to be a good person, trying to think positive. So I'm not going to do all that. But welcome to the Signature Finisher Podcast. I'm your host, DS Walk. Joining me, my tag team partner, the USO of the group, No Yeet, Jamie.
I just need you to turn your body a little bit just so you become a floating head again.
It won't allow me to be a fully human. I keep telling I'm a ghost. I appear when it needs to be. So let's see if it let me. All right, so it still won't let me. I try to get a
Oh,
little
oh,
more
there you
lighting.
go. It's because you're wearing a white shirt with a background on. That's why.
Yeah, I it's my off day, so I decided just to throw a shirt on, and I still got my PJs on.
We
Once we
appreciate that you
get
put a
done with the
shirt
show,
on.
I'm gonna put some regular clothes on and have some coffee. The Irish I got this Irish coffee recipe that calls for Irish whiskey. So as soon as we get done with the show, that's gonna be on tap.
Little Jameson, little right in there.
Not Jameson.
How dare you?
Hey man, I did Jameson last time. Jameson Black. I did it last time.
They
So I
don't
got
pay
the
me
good
in
old.
for using my name. It bothers me.
First of all, you're not getting paid for that.
That's what I said. I'm not getting paid for them using my name.
I mean, you should be writing a letter to the company or something like, hey, maybe you should sponsor the show since my name is Jameson. I have a wrestling show.
I'll be
My
honest. I don't even like Jameson, so
It's not about you, man. It's about us. It's like my brother used Jameson liquor in his coffee.
it's true. It's true. I might have to take them up on that and be like,
Yeah,
hey,
you gotta take him on that. So back to what we was originally talking about, which I forgot. But this is the end of 2025, and I can honestly sit here and say, with all the major promotions and professional wrestling, it's been horrible. Hopefully, 2026 would be better. We're optimistic that 2026 will be better because it's touch and go. But Jamie, because we talked about this all the time, and on the rundown sheet we did today, we're gonna one of the things I want to talk about is what's the outlook for professional wrestling in 2026. So, in your devious mind of yours that always working, my tag team partner who always cooking up some stuff, what is your expectation for professional wrestling for the major
for the majors
professional
only.
organization? Well, I say the majors only because we already know we expect from the independents, like from JCW and the
Hmm.
rest of them. We all know they're gonna continue to elevate and continue to go out here and get some of the top independent wrestlers to come on the show. We know they're gonna continue to do that. But just for the sake of our show,
So for the two majors, because TNA is almost WWE light at this point. Not that I'm a fan of that, but it is what it is.
yeah,
Um, for WWE, I don't expect anything really good. I mean, when they're promoting retirement tours as the highlight of the company, that's not a good look. I mean, I would love to see AJ Styles have an incredible run, but based off of how bad they treated John Cena with his, I don't expect them to do anything significant for AJ Styles. And like I said on the last show, if I'm AJ, I would try and slide under the radar as much as possible, finish out the contract, and go do a year in TNA and let them give you the retirement tour that you want. because they're at least going to do it right. Because when you think of TNA, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe are still probably the two names that you're going to think of. Maybe if you're a more recent fan, it might be like Moose or somebody like that. But if you watched back in the day like we did, TNA is synonymous with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. Like they built that company. So if I was AJ, that's what I would personally do. I'm not AJ. He's going to get more eyes on him in WWE, just like Jericho. If I was Jericho, I'd be staying away from WWE. Now, realistically, we could see him show up next Monday. I fully expect to see him next Monday because if they get him on the show, it's going to draw attention, and they want the ratings for that show to be as big as possible to show Netflix that it wasn't a waste of money. Um, but again, it's pretty well documented. Jericho and Triple H are not on the best of terms, so I don't expect Triple H to give him a very good send off. Um, and with it being Jericho, I don't think it's actually going to be a retirement tour in the sense of like with John Cena, he was clear, I am done wrestling. With Jericho, it might be you have a couple matches and then you transition into a manager role or some sort of backstage role or something like that. Like we don't know what it's going to be. But I don't see Jericho just walking away from wrestling at all. Um, but again, with WWE, there's the Carmelo Hayes thing here at the end of the year. I think is a very good bright spot. Um, but we're going into 2026. Cody's still the champ, so that's you know people are getting sick of that. They don't want to acknowledge it, but you're hearing more if you look at websites and things like that. People are tired of seeing Cody Rhodes with the belt. There's not been a lot of change, and that's part of WWE's problem. Is they're a very stagnant brand. They don't do anything to innovate anymore. They don't do anything not to push the envelope, but like to get people talking. Triple H runs a very generic and safe show, and you have boring storytelling. Like there's nothing to keep people involved. And that's their biggest problem right now. I mean, SmackDown is a terrible show. They've openly come out and said, we're going to make it better. Haven't really seen a whole lot on that front besides the Carmelo Hayes thing. Um, they should have a shock title change just to get the belt off of Cody to give people a reason to want to watch the show. Um, Gunther, uh, we're a couple weeks removed from John Cena losing. Gunther already wrestling R-Truth. That's not setting Gunther up for a good start to the new year because R-Truth isn't going to elevate a Gunther. Carrying on of, oh, you beat John Cena 2 weeks ago. Gunther should already be on somebody new, building something up for Royal Rumble. And the fact that they're wasting that time, it just shows they don't have a clue of what to do with Gunther right now. As far as AEW, in my opinion, had a better year than WWE. Not by a lot, but they had more bright spots. When you look at like the overall things, there was more bright spots. For WWE, the biggest bright spots of the year, I would say the emergence of Io Sky, showing that Tiffany can run with a belt. Getting Ilya Dragunov back is a much bigger help to them than they're probably ever going to admit. Um, kind of past that, it's like there have been flashes. They've had good matches, but there's not a whole lot else to talk about. I mean, you've done the same thing with Cody, so that's not getting you anywhere. AEW, you saw the development of Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher is probably going to be a big part of 2026 for them. Um, their women's division is starting to come back around from what all that they've lost in the last 2 years. Um, Moxley is getting a face turn that was sorely needed for him. But overall, I would say for 2026, I expect good things from AEW, and WrestleMania is going to be a big tell of what's going to happen with WWE. I thought WrestleMania last year sucked. I thought the WrestleMania before that sucked. If there's another bad one, I don't see Triple H keeping his job. And
So
that would probably be for everybody's best interest.
so for me, for AEW, it's not a long list of things. Uh, AEW, I want them to creatively tell better stories and better booking, so they can draw back their fans and and draw in new fans. I'm not necessarily worried about the wrestling because we already know they got the best wrestler. I just want them to tell better stories and better creative because they need that. They got the wrestling part down. You get tell better stories, better creative, better booking, and continue to develop a Kyle Fletcher, Sky Blue, continue Julia Hart, wrestlers like those, like them, continue to develop and get them better and create create superstars, but create new champions. They'll be fine. I truly believe that. That's the only missing ingredients for AEW. They don't need to be wrestling in the big arenas right now. They continue to wrestle where they're doing right now in arenas, stadiums, theater halls right now. Once you get back and building up your base, building up your fans, then you go back to wrestling in arenas that's like 5 to 10,000. They don't need to be wrestling no 18, 20,000 seats arena. The only big time they need to wrestle in major stadiums, arenas is the all ins and the all outs.
If I'm
Overseas.
AEW, I mean, I don't know how far out they do their booking, but I would be hitting heavily how they've been doing residencies. I would be doing heavy residencies in St. Louis, somewhere in the southern Georgia, northern Florida route, like
Where they're
Atlanta.
from. Yeah, where they're at
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
yeah, Jacksonville, Atlanta, that whole area, doing a long residency there, coming up into New York, Detroit ish area, whether it's Grand Rapids, whatever, doing long residencies there because the more that WWE gets tied into going to Saudi Arabia and all that stuff, I guarantee the Saudi Arabia thing is going to bite them, and it's going to bite them hard. AEW can profit off of that by building their fan base up while WWE is overseas.
Well, you
And
can't. How you gonna talk?
I would be looking at all the heavily wrestling influenced cities, St. Louis, places like that, going down to Dallas, San Antonio, Detroit, New York, all the heavy wrestling cities and doing residencies there
Yeah.
and just focusing on the hometown people.
Yeah. Now I do know in Detroit when they go to Little Caesar Arena, they sell out. They do pretty damn good there. And when they go to Dallas, because they go to multiple venues, they go to the one I used where I stay to now. The venue I stay not too far from is in Garland. They go there. They sell out pretty good. They go to not the AAC, but the new arena in Fort Worth. They do pretty good there. I just think that a lot of us criticize AEW for wrestling these doing these residencies too much and doing these small arenas. It's fine, especially a promotion like them. It's fine. Everybody, and we also got to remember WWE got a 50-year head start. So
I
AEW right now,
I don't get why people hate on the residencies. I think the residency idea is genius
yeah,
because
for one, you saving money.
you're saving money and logistics. Like I don't know if people know how much it costs to fill up a tractor trailer right now that's fully loaded. It's a ton of money. And then to drive that, cross country or anything. But on top of that, how many times has there been like a Raw or a Royal Rumble or something that comes to Detroit when you were living here and you just didn't get a chance to get to it? And now they don't come back to Michigan for 9 months. Now you've
Right.
got whether it's 2 weeks of you know two two dynamites and two collisions or something, you have multiple chances to see them before they're gone again. And we had the benefit in Michigan that we are one of the WWE's heavily visited cities
Hmm.
between Detroit and Grand Rapids. But other areas that might not be as heavily trafficked, you might only get them once a year. Doing the residency, you get multiple attempts to see those shows, and then they move
Yes.
on. I
Yes.
think the residency idea is great because you're going to build that connection with the fans. And if you do have fans that, hey, they're here and I get 4 dates and I'm going to buy tickets to all 4 shows, You're building a super fan there. And as long as you make their production better, all they need to do, like you said, is writing. That is the only thing that AEW lacks in. You just need better writing. Again, I keep saying it. Go hire Freddie Prince Jr., hire me, somebody that can write. That's it.
Yeah, that's all they're missing. If they got good writing, good booking, AEW will right now will probably be I ain't gonna say they'll be better in WWE, but I can guarantee you they'll still have WWE fans.
I'm not ever, I don't want to say ever, but I don't want to say AEW has better wrestlers. I know that's like their tagline and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff, but again, WCW tried to do where the big boys play. Well, we see how that worked out. You got
yeah,
bought. So I'm not going to discredit WWE. Does AEW take more risks and more chances? 100%.
yeah,
And going to the Steven Regal thing where he wrote that letter a couple days ago saying, "Hey, I wish we would, you guys talk about dropping people on their heads and things like that." I saw Kenny Omega's response, which was very well written.
mm-hmm.
Congratulated William Regal for speaking out because he's like, I'm not going to sit here and tell myself that I could do a twisting shooting star press, but I'm not going to tell Pac he can't do it because
Right.
he knows himself and what he can do. But at the same time, there does need to be somebody in AEW that says, you shouldn't be doing this. Because Kyle Fletcher could very easily have a broken neck right now.
Yeah,
And
and that's one
something as safe
thing.
as WWE. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
look at Big E. Big E's career is done from a simple belly to belly suplex outside. Like, it's
Landed
only
the
a
wrong
matter of
way.
time. Yeah. And you watch Kyle Fletcher, you watch that in slow mo, you could easily think he wouldn't be getting up again from
Yeah,
the way he landed.
yeah. And not only that, Piper Niven is out with a neck injury.
She might not be
And,
coming back either.
right, and that's one of the few where if you do certain moves, there are certain risks, and you can like that. You can injure someone's career, and it's unfortunate that Big E he's never coming back. And we see what happened with what's the guy's name, Holland,
Ridge Holland, yeah.
Rich Holland, and he took a lot of flack for that. I mean, ever
And
since
it's nothing
that
he did wrong.
wrong, no, it was just a accident. I mean, he did everything right. It was just Big E. It just went the wrong way.
Yeah.
It just went the wrong way. And you
Like
see what
nobody's
happened
going
to
out there
Rich
trying
Holland's
to hurt the
career.
other person. But again, it could be as simple as you go to lift somebody and their foot slips slightly so they don't help you lift at the same time, and all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden you don't get the carry that you thought you did. John Moxley's not trying to break the dude's neck doing that. There just
No,
wasn't the lift there that there needed to be.
right.
Um,
And then there's I would love to see AEW trying to. I don't want them to neuter um Darby Allin, but they're gonna have to tell Darby, hey, like you say, you can't take this risk.
well, I mean, from a career perspective, I get it. It's your lifelong dream to climb Mount Everest and stuff. By all means, go do it. But if I'm a promoter, it's, hey, Darby, like we're about to put you in the main event. You're about to be the world champ. This is the plan going forward. With all your health risks, if you hurt yourself or something happens, like we can't risk that as a company. And look at what happened to his career. Like he's back to just wrestling BS matches that aren't getting anywhere. And I don't
Yeah,
blame Tony Khan for that.
no,
And I don't necessarily blame Darby. If Darby went to Tony and said, I'm cool with it, it is what it is. Maybe we'll try it again in the future. But like, you can't bank your company on a guy that, what was it? He got hit by a bus in New York City like last year. Like,
mm-hmm.
and then like a week before that broke his foot skateboarding again or something. Like it's not even that he's accident prone. The dude just gets hurt on everything.
Yeah,
And he doesn't mind putting his body out there, but at the same time, like you look at a guy like Finn Balor. Finn Balor talks about, I want to wrestle as long as I can, but I wrestle pretty safe. And if you look at Finn Balor's move set, he doesn't do anything
reckless.
reckless or crazy. Like the coup de grace, yeah, you could say he could hurt his knee, he could hurt his ankle or something, but it's still a fairly safe move in the grand
Mm-hmm.
scheme of things. But he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. And there's this logic that unless you're a high flyer doing like Leon Slater where you're doing a swanton into a 450 or something, like you can't be a great wrestler. Randy Orton by most standards is still considered one of the best wrestlers in the world, and he is probably the safest wrestler on the planet. He doesn't do anything risky.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because everyone criticized the Miz for being a safe wrestler and his skill set, and it's not good. But the one thing that I can say that the Miz gonna wrestle for the next 5 to 10 years.
If he
As
wants to,
boring
yeah.
as dull as he is, he's gonna wrestle for the next 5 to 10 years because he's a
The
safe wrestler.
He's a safe wrestler. I'll say he's kind of boring in the ring, but he could change that just by changing some moves. It's not that he's not capable. And if I was one of the trainers, I'd be like, "Hey, let's switch up some of the moves." The same thing I would if I was Triple H or one of those guys, Bruce Pritchard, anybody. I'd be pulling the Usos. You guys got to get rid of these 5 moves and replace them with something new. But with the Miz, that's an easy fix. And the Miz's big benefit, he can build heat almost better than anybody else in WWE.
Hmm.
And that's what will give him a career. You can be safe all you want. He's still an ass on the microphone, which is what gets him paid.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And for the WWE, for me, I want them to be able to get out of their own way, build new stars, dedicate to the new stars. Not saying go away from the old heads, but the young new young blood, they need to be spotlighted and they need to be showcased more. I WWE also need to do better of creating, booking, writing. The WWE, I want them to actually give their fans, their money's worth. Stop charging overprices for these tickets for these events, and you only give them um not even a dollar to the value.
Well, that's not going to change.
Yeah,
I
stop.
mean, they've only doubled down on that, as we talked about on the show before. Mark Shapiro. Oh, well, Vince priced for families. We don't need to do that.
If I'm gonna pay up to $2,000 to go to WrestleMania, I want my money's worth. You don't got to
Based on
double
the,
down. Just give me just give me my money's worth.
we're going
If
into
I'm
what,
paying,
WrestleMania 43,
yes, no, we're on 42.
42. Yeah, 42. I don't know why I was thinking 43. Oh, I was thinking 3 years back. The last 3 WrestleManias, I have not been a fan of. There have been like certain aspects, like a match here or something like that. The matches have been fine, but overall, since Vince has been out of the picture, WrestleMania has sucked.
It's the build up to WrestleMania has not been what it was in past years. I'm not. If you some of the matches, we got Cody and Roman 39. That was great. The Edge and Finn Balor match, that was great. The I'm missing the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair match, that was great. The Roman and shit Cody part 2 was good. The tag team match with Rock and Roman, I liked it because The Rock only wrestled for like 5 to 6 minutes.
The
It was a tag
only
team match. He
part,
didn't take no risk. That was fine. However, I don't want to see the Uso versus the Usos again and be bored to death.
the only reason Cody Roman 2 was good was because of The Rock.
Yes,
The Rock added the story element that actually made it good. If it was just those two running it back at the same time,
it would have been boring.
yeah, The Rock
And
added the dynamic layer that made it interesting for people to watch, and that was it.
yeah, yeah, and we're gonna talk about The Rock. I forgot to write that down. We're gonna talk about The Rock because a little interesting tidbit came out about The Rock, Vince McMahon, and Triple H. But we're gonna touch on that. Um, actually, I want to see, and this is my personal one, I want to see Triple H push more black wrestlers. And I'm not talking about just putting them in one main event. Oh, I told you I can push him. No, 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 no. I want him to push the Street Profits. I want him to push and book Carmella Hayes right, and Trick Williams right, and the New Day. It's too many black wrestlers in the WWE who has dedicated themselves to this industry, to this company, who has done everything they ask them to do, and they don't get the push. I look at Ron Killings. Y'all made my man be a comedian wrestler. You never gave him the opportunity to be a serious wrestler, which he was, and he was a champion when he wasn't in the WWE. Get him that run. I'm tired of seeing the New Day being a gimmick act.
I told you what I would have done with. with our truth, the whole Ron Killings thing with the John Cena story. That would have wrapped up with him wrestling our truth and our truth winning.
Yeah. I'm tired of seeing the New Day here and gone, here and gone, here and gone. You know the New Day is a better three-man act. So you telling me, even though Big E got some broken neck, he can't come back. You telling me you can't new Big E can't be part of the New Day, be their manager, and someone be involved in helping these boys out?
I
And
don't
he
know
just
how mobile Big E is because even when you watch him at the commentary desk, he turns like this. There's no neck movement here at all. So like when he's turning to talk to the other people on the panel, he's always whole upper body turning. It might just be too hard for him to be getting down there because New Day's a very physical comedy routine when they're out there doing stuff together. It was like the air dancing and stuff like that. It might be too hard for him.
right, but see, that's the part I'm talking about where making adjustments. We seen Big E come down that ramp and get in the ring, and when the New Day, blame him for everything that's been going on in their group. Big E can do certain things. I don't need Big E to get involved physically. I just need Big E to be down there with a New Day out there trying to, I don't know, we want to call it, be a pep coach or something.
No,
If it's
I'm not
not
saying
Big
for him
E,
to get involved in the match. I'm just saying I don't know how mobile he would be because
right?
if you put the three of them together again, people are going to expect the New Day of old, where they're doing the dancing and stuff like that. And if he can't do that, people are going to feel like, well, what do you have him out there for? And I think that might be the holdup. But even still, I don't know how they don't have him on TV more because they built that whole thing up to turn those guys into heels, and then they just completely dropped it.
That's what I'm
Like I
saying.
don't know how you don't have him involved in this whole thing. Like you could have dragged that thing out all the way through the rest of the year if you wanted to, but
Yeah, I
you
mean, you could
used it to
have
turn
Big
him
E.
heel and took him away
You could have Big E scout a tag team to take on a New Day for him.
easily.
I mean, all I'm saying, I want to see African American wrestling be pushed properly by Triple H, and it's too evident over the years, and it's too evident where you go online and you hear people talking about this. Even you said it, and look, I try to not make this a race thing because I just see wrestling as wrestling, but through the time, even with Vince McMahon, he really didn't push black wrestlers like that. So we need to get away from that. I want to see Dom Mysterio when he gets healthy, be able to take that next leap. I mean, if you're gonna put all this effort into him, you made him a double champion, make it worth the while. I
I
need to
don't
see
think there
more.
was a racism thing with Vince because I mean Vince always would do interviews where he's like the only color I see is green, and there
Right.
were times that he would push like if you go back to the '90s, he was before Roman Reigns, he was all about Ahmed Johnson, and Ahmed
Yeah.
Johnson screwed it up for himself.
And I mean,
Like
Job was
he
getting
was
his
put
ass
like
kicked backstage.
he talk about putting a rocket pack on somebody. He did everything he could to make Ahmed Johnson a superstar, and Ahmed Johnson screwed that whole thing up. I mean, and then Booker T came over. Booker T took off. I do think that Triple H is racist. Like when there's enough smoke, there's a fire somewhere. I mean, MVPs talk about it. You had
I'm
multiple
glad you
black
said that.
wrestlers that have said, you deal with it. Devon's talked about Jim Ross. I watched Jim Ross's comments where he said, I don't know where he's getting that from. I've never said anything like that before. Whether he did or not doesn't matter. I kind of don't think that that would have been JR that said it. It was probably somebody else, but whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, look at Braun Breaker and Carmelo basically got up to the main shows at the same time. Look at where Braun Breaker is. Look where Carmelo is. Carmelo already has all the tools that Braun Breaker is just now starting to get. And yet, Braun Breaker is going to wrestle for the world title in a couple days. Carmelo just got his first title.
I got an even
Braun's
better
already had
example.
two IC runs.
I got an even better example. You have Raquel Rodriguez is now the main event scene for the women's championship on Raw. Liv Morgan is in the championship scene on Raw. Maxine Dupree, Intercontinental Champion. Stephanie Verkier, the women's champion. Nikki Bella, a Hall of Famer, I guess, in the championship scene on Raw and for the women's championship. You know who's not in the championship scene for a women's championship? Julia. And we can sit here and say, you say it all the time. Well, she don't speak good English, but she has a mouthpiece.
I know. I'm not going to make any excuses for that.
I just gave you 5, 6 women wrestlers who are not on the same level as Julia, and she is not in the championship scene. Julia came up to the main roster with Stephanie Victoria, and Stephanie Victoria is great on her own standard. She is great. I'm a huge fan. But Julia get the United States title, and y'all didn't do nothing with her with it. And now y'all came out and said, "Oh, she gonna be in a different program. She gonna get a major push." That was like a month ago. That was like 2 months ago. I'm looking at Stephanie. She's killing overall. They give her all
She's
the
getting a major
competition that she
push.
needs.
Why isn't she going against Jade? Julia can lead Jade through a match. Jade needs all the help she can. There's your answer right there, but they're not doing it. And then you'd have, well, I mean, Julia's technically Japanese, I think.
She's Japanese. She's mixed. Yeah, she's
I mean,
Japanese.
she's mixed with a lot of things, but I think
Yeah,
technically she's Japanese because she was
Japanese.
born over
Yeah.
there. But then you're getting multicultural, and with a black talent, you'd be like knocking out a bunch of birds with one stone. But instead, they're having BFAB get beat up every week, Meechin get beat up every week, making them look like a joke, which doesn't help their character. The Maxine Dupree that you mentioned, I'm not going to bitch about that at all because Maxine spent the R-Truth years just being a joke character and getting beat up and pushed around by the other girls. They're actually doing something with her. I'm happy about it. But Julia needs to be getting a world championship sooner than later. Nikki Bella is a prime example of what I've talked about on the show before. I hate the old guys coming back. If you come back for a match or something, like I love when the Godfather would come back, show up in the Royal Rumble, something like that. Everybody loves Godfather. Coming back for like the Royal Rumbles and things like that, it's fun. And even then, I only want a couple because the Royal Rumble is about determining, who's getting a title shot. I don't want it full of
Mhm.
25 guys from yesteryear and 5 guys from, the current times, but a few guys. But like having Nikki Bella come back, that's not helping your company. Nikki
No,
Bella is not selling tickets to
and not only
anything.
is not helping, she is out of place. Out of place with today's talent. She doesn't fit with today's talent. It's like if you was gonna give Nikki Bella a championship push, and I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it, but if you was gonna give her that championship push, you should have gave it to her 10 years ago. You should have gave it to her 10 years ago. And what's up with this? I find it odd. Well, now excuse me, I don't find it odd that Nikki Bella did the STFU.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
mean,
everybody noticed that. Don't worry.
are we really just gonna copy our ex's wrestling moves? Are you still trying to
Everybody's been
replace
pointing that
John
out.
Cena? Have you been married and now you dating a football star? Are we really doing this now?
I mean, the only reason she's in WWE is because she needs a check to cut to Artem. That's it. Because she's got to pay him. I think it's like 4 grand a month or something like that. So, and again, if it was about her helping new talent, she was never good enough to come back and help current talent. The only way she could help current talent is if they did give her a title run and she passed that title off onto somebody, and she does not deserve a title run, which means you don't need her back. Period. You've
So
already given her a Hall of Fame contract, this and
mhm.
that. She's not good enough. You have way too many good women in the division already that are now not getting TV time because Nikki Bella's there.
Yeah, if
And that's my issue with it.
right. So if we're gonna continue to see Nikki Bella in the main event scene for the women's championship or for any women's title, I'm gonna need Triple H to take her seriously because if you don't, because all she really is, and you know it, every wrestling fan know it. Anytime she's in a triple threat match, she's in there to be the one to get pinned, not the one to
Hmm.
be to save or look good. She's there to take the pinfall.
Hmm.
So until they take her seriously, I'm not gonna take her seriously. And that's not right on their part, because if you bring a Hall of Famer back, I expect y'all to take them seriously. Hey, you know what? I need you to go out here and I need you to make such and such look good. And while in that process, we're gonna protect you. They're not protecting her. They just like, hey, just take
She
this fall.
wrestled in a time where nobody took women's wrestling seriously because it wasn't good. Like the Divas Championship and stuff like that, nobody cares about that. AJ is the only one that people want to bring back from that. If you go farther back and bring back Lita or Trish Stratus or Mickey James or Gail Kim, they have a pedigree. They have, they actually changed women's wrestling, and then it evolved into AJ Lee. Nikki Bella just got to ride that wave. Her and Bree's better than Nikki. You brought back the wrong Bella twin first off,
Right.
but you're not going to bring back Bree because of Brian Danielson being over in AEW.
AEW.
But like Nikki Bella just needs to go because she's taking up TV time for the guy or the girls that can go that aren't going to get a shot now. Like right now, what's Lyra Valkyria is just being a cheerleader for Bailey. You guys aren't doing anything with Bailey. How is Bailey not? You're going to go another WrestleMania without Bailey having any significance. You cut all the women promos, and Bailey's not even part of that group. Like, come on now.
Come on, look, we might see Randy Orton might not be a big factor in WrestleMania this year again. And that's the thing about the AEW and WWE is that you have Bailey with everything that you ask her to do. She has done it and done it 10 times better. But then you don't make her the focus point of your women's division. I mean, of all of the women that they've been pushing over the years, the Charlotte Flair, the Becky Lynch, the Sasha Banks of the world, she outdone all of them twice. 100%. Twice.
You don't got to convince me of that. Twice. Bailey's the best of that group.
And you have like Becky Lynch coming out here, I'm the best female wrestler according to Sports Illustrated. If you take a poll from wrestling fans who the best women wrestling WWE, it will be Bailey.
If you took AJ out of the equation for her coming back right now, because it would just be recency bias. If people hear that AJ was so great back then, even though they've never seen her wrestle before, everybody would come out and say AJ right now. Bailey's probably hands down the best women's wrestler of all time. Now, give it another 10 years, you could be saying Io Sky or Trish Stratus, Tiffany Stratton, because I do believe Tiffany Stratton in 2 years will be probably one of the best to ever do it, because she's got the athleticism and she's got the power. She's like Bianca. She could do things that the other girls can't. They could do some of the things, but she could do it all. Now, picking up, Nia Jax, nobody's picking up Nia Jax and throwing her around. So
unless you're Bianca and Jay, that's different.
And even then,
that's very
they're not
minimal.
picking her up and they're not picking her up and throwing her around.
No.
But Bailey right now is hands down the best women's wrestler of all time.
Bailey to me is one of those wrestlers where I think she's not. Well, no, I don't think. I know she's not appreciated, and she's one of those wrestlers where I kind of feel like she should have left with WWE. Now I get it; it's nowhere to go. I mean, I'm not saying AEW is not a good option for her, but
I would be surprised when her contract's up if she didn't go to AEW, because she would be the instant star over there, and she clearly doesn't mind working with newer talent to build it up. And that's what separates Bailey. Is Becky Lynch is just now starting to work with Maxxine Dupri. Bailey's been doing it
for years. I mean, we just seen Bailey at Saturday Night's Main Event put over Sol Ruca, but put her over in a way where Bailey still made herself look good. So we don't see that a lot. The WWE is about creating moments, but during that time y'all trying to create moments, you forget about a wrestler who is basically is your MVP and who's basically is putting over the younger talent and helping Lyra Valkyria to get over. I mean, you literally took.
I did not like Lyra Valkyria from the time she got on the main roster. Now she's been working with Bailey. I'm kind of like, okay. maybe it's the whole bird wings thing that she comes out with. Something about Lyra Valkyria I couldn't get into, but now I'm like, she's not so bad, and I know she can wrestle. Like she's great in the ring, but now she's turned into just a cheerleader for Bailey, and it's like, what are you guys doing? Like they
So
don't seem to have a concept of what they're doing. They
nah.
keep thinking that they only have 4 women's wrestlers on each show. Well, as long as we focus on Rhea and we focus on Io and we focus on the Kabuki Warriors, we'll be okay. And then as long as we focus on Jade and uh Tiffany's hurt right now, so you have that benefit.
So now they
But
focus on Alexa Bliss,
yeah,
sort of Charlotte Flair,
well, in
sort
Charlotte,
of
yeah, you got Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, and
Naya
then
and
Jade
Lash
and
Legend. Yeah,
Nia. Even Lash Legend is just kind of there right now,
yeah.
like almost like a lackey to Nia Jax. But it's like 4 women on each show, and they'll say, "Oh, well, time constraints, this and that." There is no time constraint to Raw. You guys impose a time constraint. You're now getting a third hour on SmackDown. What are you going to do with that third hour?
They ain't gonna do nothing with that third hour.
No, it's going to be
And
30 minutes of commercials.
yeah, and they even though they said this is temporarily not a full time 3 hour show, still USA is wasting their money on you guys on the third hour show. Where that third hour show could do to a different to programming. I mean, who wants to see 30-35 minutes of commercials
It's going to be 30 minutes of commercials. You're going to get 2 extra backstage segments.
in
That's
one
about it.
match?
I don't even think you might even get a match out of it.
In one match. You know another thing I kind of wanted WWE to do, but we know they're not going to do this. Well, let me phrase that. There is one thing I want them to do, and they should do it. I want them to break up the Y6. And the reason why I want them to break them up because they not do nothing with them. They squandered an opportunity to be creative, to do something exciting on SmackDown with the Y6, and they just dropped the ball. How many times are we going to continue to be teased with Alexa Bliss joining the Y6? How many times are we going to get teased every time Uncle Howdy comes back? How many times we going to see these guys and they look lackluster? It's not because of their skill set, it's because the way you guys book them.
Well, the problem with the Wyatt Six, it's not anything to do with the people that are part of the Wyatt Six.
Nah,
The
it's
driving
not.
force of that entire thing was Bray Wyatt. Nobody in WWE is creative enough to tell a story with the intent and the direction that Bray Wyatt would have been able to do. They're just taking Bray Wyatt was very clear. He never wanted his puppet characters to be turned into
Wrestlers.
characters. And
Hmm.
what did they do? They turned
Made
all
it
of the puppets into wrestlers. So like right off the rip, you're going against everything that he had talked about in interviews and stuff. Alexa Bliss has even said he was clear that he never wanted to use the puppets as actual wrestlers. And now that he's not here, oh well, in his spirit and this and that, carried on his legacy. If anything, you're going against everything he was saying. But they know that tying it to Bray Wyatt means they're going to sell merch because Bray Wyatt was the king of creating merch for them. Whether it was the "Let Me In" catchphrase, or the Fiend masks, or the toys, or the Firefly Funhouse, or any of that stuff, the dude was a merch king. And now they're just using his name to make money with. There's no intention behind that group to do anything.
right. See, I was excited about the Y6 because of the vignettes and the creativity they did with the using the VH1 videos and doing their promos with that, doing the interviews with that. And it just seems like they just got away from that. And then I'm
Yeah,
there
since they
thinking like
debuted, what have they done?
nothing.
What have they done with them to build up the mystique of that group?
Nothing. And you can't even say, well, we put the tag team titles on them. Yeah, but that's a waste.
Nobody cares about tag team wrestling.
Right. That's a waste. And then another thing is that you telling me that you can't work with Bo Dallas, who is probably next to his brother, probably wouldn't know how this should be going, how this supposed to be run the right way. I mean, how many times we seen behind the scenes with Bray Wyatt where he is right there next to the director, next to Vince McMahon, whoever right there, and he is kind of helping out. Like, look, I want this. This how it's supposed to be done. No, I don't like this. No, I like that.
And he could be giving them feedback and they're just choosing to ignore it. I mean, when you go back and you watch the Bray Wyatt documentary, Triple H all but called him an asshole. Oh, he was
Yeah,
super difficult. He was this. No, the guy created a character and he's not going to let you guys bastardize it and destroy it.
yeah. He
Because
want to
what is
protect his
WWE
work.
known for?
He want to
They
protect his
destroy
work.
things.
Right.
Yeah.
It's no different when Triple H or all these guys will protect their character to make their character look good. This guy is protecting his art.
If I came up with a character and something that was truly catching on, like Bray Wyatt was a pop culture phenomenon. Like people were doing his stuff outside of just wrestling audiences and groups of friends. I'm not going to say it's to the level of the 6-7 nonsense, but even
No.
before 6-7, when me and you were younger, what was it? It was Suck It. It was DX Suck It.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Pop culture phenomenon. It happened. But with if I created something to that level, I wouldn't take it to WWE. I mean, look what they did with the NWO. You had something that literally
Killed it.
writes checks for you, and you figured out a way to destroy it in a
Yeah.
way
So
that only the WWE could figure out.
right. So I love how they we're gonna bring them back. They're the poison pill. We're gonna have them take out Steve Austin and The Rock. Wait a minute. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make Hulk Hogan a face, and then we're gonna make him a face and turn on his brothers. All right, that's over. Yeah, you
Like
just
I said,
killed. You
you
killed
killed
two careers in one instant. You killed three careers. Excuse me.
one group, a stable that literally just prints checks for you, and you figured out how to screw it up and destroy it within a matter of almost no time at all.
Yeah, if you want to hear the rest of that story, check out Kevin Nash podcast. He tells it.
Mm-hmm.
He told how this is what they're supposed to do. And at the last minute, Vince McMahon changed it and said, "Now we're gonna have Hulk Hogan fight The Rock, and he's gonna go face." That's when he knew that this was over.
Yeah. And the
So
first mistake made is that you didn't bring anybody new into the group. You had an aging Kevin Nash that could barely move, an aging Hulk Hogan that who knows how many hip and knee replacements by that time, and a Scott Hall that was
an alcoholic. That's keep it honest. Keep it a buck.
alcoholic slash barely reliable.
Yeah, keep it
Still
a
put
buck
on a
with
great
it.
match at WrestleMania, but how you got to, and again, another example of that. How did you get to a WrestleMania where it's Austin versus Hall? Like you can watch documentaries and
Yeah, I
things leading
remember
up to
that.
that, but it's like that match had no build up, no nothing.
And it wasn't supposed to be that match. It
No.
wasn't supposed to be Hall versus Austin. It wasn't supposed to be Rock versus Hogan.
Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be Austin versus Hogan, and Hogan screwed that one up.
Well, he wanted to protect his character, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But I want everybody understands that to understand that just because they push Bianca Belair doesn't really mean you really pushing a back wrestler. And Bianca Belair is an exception to the rule because Bianca Belair is great and and she deserves to be pushed. But I'm talking about the rest of them. You can't sit here and say, we gave the Street Profits the titles. Yeah, after 5 years, then y'all took them off of them at 2 months later.
Let me just say this. We've talked about Montez Ford, especially on the earlier shows that we've done, pretty extensively. Montez Ford is everything that they want Jey Uso to be. You already have it in Montez Ford, and they're choosing not to do anything with it. Now, this could be because of the UFC thing, because apparently he's supposed to be fighting in the UFC. If anybody doesn't know, Montez Ford is an actual badass. And he's been linked. He's tried to go over to the UFC before, and they just wouldn't let him. Now I had read about a while ago. It's been a couple months, but he's got something where that he's actually going to fight in the UFC while doing WWE. So maybe that's part of why we haven't seen them. I don't know. But if I'm Montez Ford, you're pushing this Jey Uso guy that's basically just a watered down version of me and can't do what I can do in the ring. Where's my shot? And again, Jey Uso gets the bloodline advantage. His family does have a lot of sway. His cousin is on the board of directors. Like, but Montez Ford is everything they wish Jey Uso could be, and it's already sitting in front of you.
Montez Ford is the perfect example of you said who Jay Uso should be, but Montez Ford is the perfect mid card level wrestler right now. When I mean that, he's a guy where you can put the IC title and the US title on him, and then you let him grow that title, and he would be let him grow to the point where, all right, you know what, it's time to make that main event guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is he is perfect for that. You give him the run with the IC title and the US title, then run those titles for about 6 months apiece, or even 4 or 5 months. Not only he's gonna be able to elevate himself and that title, Montez Ford is the type of guy where he's gonna elevate his competition. Montez Ford is that guy where if you could think about it 5 years from now, that's that guy that's gonna be in the main event scene, and that's that guy that actually be your future heavyweight champion if you give him the opportunity to be a single wrestler. That's nothing against his tag team partner. That's nothing
Angelo
against
Dawkins.
D'Angelo the Hawkins. That's nothing against him. Hawkins in his own right is a good wrestler, and eventually, yeah, he's gonna get a singles run. I know a lot of people don't see him as a single wrestler. A lot of us might seem like, well, if Montez becomes a single wrestler, he should be able to pick up someone to be a tag team. No, it's just that Montez Ford ceiling is higher than Hawkins, but it's also higher than most people in the WWE, most wrestlers in the WWE, and he just need that opportunity.
Well, and the one part about it that you always have to talk about is that because it is scripted, there are people that are going to be looked over. And it's up to them to realize it and try and find a better opportunity elsewhere. Cody Rhodes is a perfect example. If Cody Rhodes stayed in the WWE that entire time, he'd be nothing. He would be absolutely nothing. He left, he called his own shot, he made it work, and then he got to come back, and now he's treated as the face of the company. I still don't see it, but whatever, it happened. There's other guys that could go and do the same thing, whether they choose to or not. That's on them. But Montez Ford is one of those guys that I could see just never gets the opportunity.
Yeah, and
A, because he's the wrong color. B, just because they're going to say, oh, well, we've got, you know, go to Paul Heyman's thing on Monday when they were doing their little thing out in the ring. This is your future WrestleMania. This is your future main event with these guys in the ring. Well, Montez Ford's not in that ring. You only have so many main event guys.
yeah,
So,
and Montez Ford deserves to be in that ring. And it just to me, man, it just so many wrestlers of color, not just black, but Hispanic, African Americans. It's just so many of them, of us, and all of us out here that is so skilled that can tell very good stories, but just need the opportunity to do it. I mean, I just read that off topic that Alberto Del Rio might be coming back,
mhm.
and I'm cool with that because especially if he's coming back and going to Triple A, 100%, I am cool with that. Now I don't know how the WWE feels. I don't know how Triple H feel about that because Rey Mysterio has been out here. I think at the Triple H event where he said he kind of like hey, put it out there, Derry might be coming back, but I hope he does come back and go to Triple A, and because he made a name for himself there, he basically rehabilitated his image down in Triple A.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see him come back and finish what he started.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Hispanic wrestlers have had a better run under Triple H than black wrestlers have. I think that's pretty well evident. But there's still a lot of improvement to be done. I just look at it as if you can do the job and you can do it at a higher level than somebody else, then you should be doing the job. Dominic Mysterio, is he my favorite wrestler? No, but he's been able to carry the weight. He's been in a faction that basically doesn't really function as a faction, became the face of the faction, loved by the fans for being a heel. It's one thing to be a heel and the fans hate you. Like, he's a loved heel. That is very hard to do.
Right.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the tributes to Eddie Guerrero that he does, because Eddie Guerrero was another one of those. He could be a heel, but he was the heel that you loved because he was funny. He the cheat to win, the China thing with mommy, like all of that stuff. And Dominic took it. I won't say he made it his own, but he had at least a little bit of a spin. Did the mommy thing, but instead of China, you got Rhea Ripley. Little things like that. I think endeared him to the crowd a lot.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
and what ties it in is that with this the same storyline from when the day started until now about his father being a deadbeat. So it all ties in together. And this is the perfect storyline for Dominic Mysterio that actually elevated him. And now I'm just looking forward to the next step. Okay, in a way, I am ready for them to get away from this deadbeat dad, him and his father. I'm waiting for them to have their grand finale match so that Dom can continue on growing as a character and move on to something better. But hey, look, this deadbeat dad character, excuse me, not character, but storyline that's been going on for about ever since what about 21, 22?
mm,
When he joined the Judgment Day, that was in 22,
I
I
mean,
think.
Judgment Day is like 3 years old, so yeah, it's
This
been like
version
a
of
year
Judgment Day
before
is
that.
3 years
Yeah,
old. So yeah. So about since 22. I think, Dom has done a hell of a job, and now I'm just waiting for see what's next for him. Now it's time to move on to Jamie's favorite song, wrestling song, Judas. Because because
little known
Jamie
fact: my favorite wrestling theme song is "Rising Sun" for Shinsuke Nakamura. In case we're actually keeping track, but
Judas is up there.
Judas is definitely up there for sure.
So Jamie at midnight, Chris Jericho, AEW contract will expire. And allegedly, got put it out allegedly out there. Is he gonna be signing a WWE contract? If
I
it's not
mean,
in his email already.
all the signs are there. He was hanging out with Kevin Owens not too long ago. They were at the hockey games and stuff together. And anybody that pays attention to how Chris Jericho does things, when he's getting ready for a comeback, he goes through, as we talked about, the character changes, physical transformations. If anybody saw those pictures not too long ago, he's pretty jacked again,
Yeah, he got a shade.
which he ain't getting that jacked to come back to AEW.
He
So
did one time. He did one
he did
time.
the one time, yes. But this isn't a I'm coming back to AEW. This is a I'm putting out my best. Kind of like when Edge came back and he's chiseled the whole thing and it's like Edge has never been chiseled in his life. And then he comes back, he's got the rippling six pack. Jericho's doing the same thing. And it's like I'm putting my best out there. This is my last go of it.
So my whole thing, well, the rumor is that he'll debut January 5th. You had already alluded to that. January 5th edition of Monday Night Raw. And
Gunther.
you think so?
If they don't, they're dumber as a company that I could ever give them credit for. You need Gunther has no heat on him at all. Like they got to do something to make him relevant.
That's what I got Brock Lesnar for. Um, so I'm interested to see how this gonna play out on Raw because we all know everybody's gonna go crazy when Chris Jericho come out there. I don't know what music comes out to. I hope it's Judas because it is his song. But I
I
do
think
know,
hearing a break the walls down, we get the people to just lose their minds.
yeah, but you kind of want something fresh. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like we heard Judas all through AEW, but we haven't heard Judas
Exactly.
in the
Well,
WWE.
and WWE is not going to let them do any AEW related stuff.
But remember, that's his
And
song.
it's true, it is. And they might get away with it. But Jericho also, when he comes back, he kind of does like a whole It's not just like oh, I changed my outfit or something. It's like a whole new character. That's why I think it's going to be brand new music and everything. But I think if you
Yeah,
got the, I got you, break the walls down, people are going to lose their shit.
yeah. But if he comes back to break the walls down, that's really not. That's really not really changing.
Well, I mean, he could still have a different look, and he'll probably have a different finisher because he's done the Lion Tamer, he's done the
He got
Code
the coke
Breaker.
breaker.
He changes it up. Like he could keep the music and come back as completely different. Besides the music, if I had to guess, it's going to be all new music, all new everything. Like when
Well,
he came back after he cut his hair off, that was almost an entirely different person. Whole new move set. Like the Lion Tamer was the only thing that kind of kept carried over from Jericho of old. I'm kind of expecting like a whole new thing.
yeah, and I can see that. And my expectation for Chris Jericho when he comes back to WWE is, I just think Chris Jericho toward the end of his career, I think Chris Jericho is gonna be like Randy Orton. He's just gonna have fun with this, like he always do. And Chris Jericho is gonna work with the young talent. But Chris Jericho is gonna, wherever show he's gonna be on, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, he is going to elevate it. Now I hope I see more Chris Jericho doing his show on one of these shows. I don't see Chris Jericho wrestling a full time schedule because he's 55, and
He
I just
doesn't
kind of
need to wrestle a full time schedule
no.
either.
And honestly, I don't know if he's gonna wrestle a part time schedule, but I do expect Jericho to be wrestling. I don't know if he's gonna wrestle for a title, but I do expect
Jericho
Chris.
is still a main eventer. He's going to get main event attention. If they're smart, you use Jericho with the guys that can't talk because
Okay, so
Jericho
that's why
can
you said
carry a
Gunther.
feud. Gunther can't talk. He needs Ludwig Kaiser to come back. He doesn't need a manager. He just needs somebody like Ludwig that is a wrestler, but comes out with him kind of like his right hand guy and does the talking for him. Because, yeah, Gunther cannot draw heat on himself through a microphone. It comes off as forced and fake. Jericho is one of the few. John Cena could do it. Mick Foley could do it. Ric Flair could do it. That can carry a feud just by the microphone. And they can carry both sides of the feud. I mean, Chris Jericho had to carry a very long, extended feud with Dean Malenko, a guy that had worse than zero microphone skills. And it's still, in my opinion, one of the funniest rivalries of all time. The Man of 1,004 Holds is one of my favorite absolute sketches in wrestling of all time. Jericho comes out with the old school printer paper and reading off armbar like 10 times. It's great. But Jericho needs to work with the guys that can't talk. Gunther, Braun Breaker, people like that. Braun Breaker, I know you wanted to get into it. It was on our rundown. The start of Braun Breaker's promo was good. About halfway through, fell off a cliff. Just like you had something there, and I don't know if he lost his train of thought or what, but it went from being solid where I was like, I actually stopped playing a video game to actually watch it. And about the time I started watching, I'm like, okay, it got bad, and I went back to doing what I was doing.
Oh, you talking about when he stopped and hit that little pause and he had look like he was thinking to say
Yeah,
something? Yeah, I do remember that one. Ooh. Um, look, I don't. I just expect Chris Jericho's gonna make an impact, and I do expect him to be in a couple good major feuds. The one I could think of right now, I would love to see Chris Jericho in. I'd love to see him and Sami Zayn
him and Sami Zayn would be good. But I
because
think
of the
right now,
because of the Kevin Owens factor right there.
I think he needs to come back, and it just needs to be hand down with Gunther. Gunther needs help big time because he has no heat on him whatsoever. You went from beating John Cena to you're now wrestling R-Truth. Like the John Cena thing is over. John Cena's not going to come out and high five R-Truth. Thanks for defending me or anything. Like that's done. So you essentially have to move on from it. And they haven't even lined anybody up for him yet. And hopefully that's because they have the Jericho plan in place. But Jericho would be the guy to get heat back on him instantly. And you know Jericho's going to come back and the crowd's going to erupt. So you might as well make him a face right off the rip.
Yeah, and man, I'm actually for the longest time when it comes to the WWE, I'm actually excited to see what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw on January 5th because of Chris Jericho and because this is now, as they say, this is the official kickoff to the start of the road to WrestleMania. So on that Gunther part, so you want to see him and Chris Jericho. So if this the kickoff to WrestleMania and Gunther is going to be in a major match, at what point do you start building up between him and Brock Lesnar? Because that is the match.
That match doesn't need to happen because that match is going to go over like a ton of bricks.
So you saying they all need to wrestle each other at WrestleMania or don't have the match at all?
Don't have the match at all. I mean, what is Brock or is Gunther going to get an award for retiring the most people? No, it doesn't mean anything. So it doesn't have to be Gunther that beats Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's made his career on being a heel, not being a face. You don't need a heel versus heel retirement match. That's not going to do anybody any good. Unless they're going to try and establish Gunther as being this dominant force of we're going to show who the dominant heel is. That's the only way you would get any sort of payoff that would make any sense. And the problem with that is everybody knows Brock Lesnar is a legit badass. Trying to make somebody look to be more imposing than him is basically impossible. You're doing it for the sake of a story. And I don't think him versus Brock Lesnar would be going
a story that should be told.
A story that should be told, and it's going to do more harm to Gunther than it is good. The match itself could be phenomenal, but it's not going to help Gunther. It's just like when Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker. Did it help Brock Lesnar in any way, shape, or form? No. Did it give Paul Heyman a few talking points?
Yeah.
Sure. But it didn't increase the legend of Brock Lesnar. It didn't draw any more heat on Brock Lesnar. It didn't do anything. If they would have done that year with Roman Reigns or saved it for the following year when they had The Undertaker lose again to Roman Reigns, that could have done something. But by the time Roman did it, it's like, okay, this has already been done. He screwed it up.
Right.
But Gunther should not be the one to beat Brock. If anything, it would have to be Braun Breaker. Because they want desperately for people to think that Braun Breaker is some sort of real threat. It kind of has to be Braun Breaker. I'm not saying the Jericho Gunther thing needs to go into WrestleMania, but they got to do something to put heat on Gunther. And unless they're going to have him win the Rumble, which I doubt, because I don't expect Braun Breaker to win next Monday.
Really?
I don't think he's.
You expect him to drag this out?
You know, I don't gamble, but I would be willing to put money that Braun Breaker is not going to win next Monday.
Oh wow! So you in the camp of they're going to drag this story?
Oh, they're going to drag this shit out. They have nothing else going on.
They're going to. So you think they're going to drag this out to WrestleMania or drag this out to Elimination Chamber?
No, I think he'll lose it at Royal Rumble, or I think he'll win it. I should say.
No. So actually, what I'm saying is, you think that they're going to drag the Punk and Braun Breaker feud all the way up to the Elimination Chamber? You think?
No, I expect that to end at Royal Rumble.
Oh, so just end it one off.
Yeah, it's probably going to end with Punk getting injured and being off TV for a while,
and Breaker with the title.
Somebody new will step up. Whoever the winner of the Royal Rumble is. I hope that's the way it goes. I don't want to see Braun Breaker win the Royal Rumble. It's too soon for him to be winning the Royal Rumble.
No, I still think Sami Zayn gonna win that. But also,
and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Not that I want him to win either. Sami Zayn, I think that should be one of his niches that he never is a world champion. But They're obsessed with Grand Slam champions, so we know it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be Sami Zayn, and I'm actually I'm glad it's Sammy because if they decide to pull the trigger, I hope it is Sammy. And the reason why is because I didn't want to see Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns, and I know they were setting up for that. I didn't want to see that because to me, they both guys are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to see two guys who basically got the same skill set and they're gonna wrestle the same style of match, and that match gonna be over within 5 minutes.
Well, and we
You're
know
not
it's
going to
going to be
get it.
Sami Zayn because Triple H will come back and say, "Oh, my long form storytelling, guys. I've been planning this." No, you haven't. It was a series of, butterfly effect. This one little thing happens, which spawned into all these. That was my little macho man. You see that there? That was completely inadvertent there.
Yeah, yeah.
It just spawns into all this other stuff. But and that's what they're gonna do. Oh, everybody loves a feel good story. If Sami Zayn can beat, Braun Breaker and win his heavyweight title, that's 100% what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make another. I'm gonna make a prediction here. I do believe Braun Breaker and the Vision won't be on Raw. I believe it's gonna be some type of draft or something, and Cody Rhodes gonna end up on Raw.
I
And I
can
say that
see the Vision growing to a point that they're going to be on both shows continuously.
but I say that only because the Sami Zayn is on SmackDown right now, and I don't. And look, they already set it up for Roman versus Rome. I mean, Cody versus Roman, and Roman exclusively has been wrestling on Raw. So I do believe that switch is gonna happen. You're gonna see the division there on SmackDown and Cody on
Well, I
Raw.
think it's going to be a thing where Sammy's going to win, and Sammy's going to be the one going to both shows and doing the whole. Well, I haven't decided who I'm going to go against yet. Blah blah
Oh
blah
yeah,
blah.
of
To
course
milk
he's
that
gonna
as
do
long as
that.
he can.
I mean that's definitely the playbook. But I just to me just for story purpose and because Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn, we seen their matches and Sammy has carried Braun Breaker and actually made to a very good match.
Hmm?
So I'm looking for. I hope Sammy wins the Royal Rumble, and I hope we see that. Um,
I'll say that I won't have a problem with him winning. The sooner I can get his title run accomplished, just like Jey Uso. You guys are going to do it. Just do it, get it done, so I don't have to hear about it anymore. That's the way I was with the
the
Jey
heel
Uso
turn,
title
yeah,
run. Just get it done so I can move on from it because it's bad.
yeah, we
Do it
gonna
with
see
Jey
the heel
Uso,
turn,
or do it with Sammy. Get his title run in. Get it out of my way. On to
yeah,
bigger and better.
yeah. So this whole thing all kind of connected. When I'm trying to say about the first Raw 26 into WrestleMania, and it's big for a lot of people. It's big for Triple H. It's big for Stephanie. It's big for Punk and all these guys. And the reason why I say that is big because The Rock, and I know a lot of people is not big fans of The Rock right now. The Rock is watching from a distance. See, the one thing we all keep forgetting about The Rock when he said is that I play the long game. I don't play the short game. And I know a lot of us still put half of the blame on him about the John Cena thing. And he said, "Peace out, fuck this, peace out. You go ahead and do what you're gonna do." And when I mean that, he said to Triple H. It's big for Triple H and his crew to get this off to a good start and finish it off right. Because at any point, if they drop the ball between the first Raw or 26 all the way to WrestleMania, if they drop the ball and if this shit goes sideways, the I do believe the Rock gonna inject himself and gonna change this whole shit up. Again, he's playing the long game. He he sat back and he watched shit become a shit show. He
I
sit
wouldn't even
back.
say he's playing the long game. He already knows he's in the position of power that if he went to Ari Emanuel right now and said, "I'm taking over the show,"
All right, man ain't gonna do nothing.
Ari Emanuel's not going to tell him no. So he doesn't have to play a long game. He can come out and act like he's doing that whole thing. He's just sitting there, just waiting for his opportunity to just say whatever. So you can say he's playing the long game. He doesn't need to play a game. He's already in the position of if he wants to go and change it, he's going to go in and say, "You're fucking done," and take over.
Yeah, it's funny because little tidbits been coming out recently. How Rock got the chair, the be a board member, the top board member. Uh, Vince McMahon did that.
Hmm.
Um, Vince McMahon has been. Let's put it like this, and you agree with this. Triple H been with the WWE for a very long time. He's been there with, sent by Vince McMahon's side. And when things decide to get stale, when things start not to go the way that it plans to, Vince McMahon never turned to Triple H, his own son-in-law. He gets on the back phone and call his other son, The Rock, to come back and just energize the people in the crowd. And Triple H sit back and watch this shit goes down every time The Rock comes back. Every time Vince McMahon needs something, he turns to The Rock. Every time Vince needs someone to do a job or promote or be in the main event, whatever he needed, he never turned to Triple H. He goes to The Rock. And if you're Triple H and you see that my own father-in-law, who I work with side by side, never turned to me to get things done. And all due respect, because I heard this, they were saying like even with Stephanie and Shane, all due respect. The reason why they didn't get keys to the kingdom because they never made a name outside of WWE. Triple H never made a name for himself outside of WWE. You can
Well,
give
he
him some
tried and
credit.
he failed. He tried to
Yeah,
get
he
into
tried and
acting.
failed. But guess who did? The Rock built his own empire. And look, we can sit here and say how bad his movies is and whatever. That's fine, but he made a name for himself. He made a bigger name himself other than any other WWE wrestler that he had, even bigger than Hulk Hogan's. What I'm saying is that when Vince McMahon needed someone to come through for him, he turned to The Rock, not to his family, not to his son-in-law. And now Vince not part of the company anymore. And Vince give it one more FU and say, yeah, I'm gonna make The Rock the head of the board. He gonna take my spot, not my son-in-law. That at some point, The Rock gonna run this company, not this guy.
Hmm. No, and I haven't been a part of boards, so I'm not going to say that I have, but I've seen enough of how they've played out with companies that I've worked for. When you're the head of the company and you're stepping down, you get to nominate somebody to take your place. Like when I was at Lone Depot, they did the same thing. Anthony Shea, they wanted him out, and he said, "Okay, I'll step out, but this is the person that's replacing me." And that person was put in place for 2 years until they went through the shitstorm that they were going through. And guess what happened? Anthony Shea came back and took his spot as the head of the company all over again, and that just happened a couple. But and that's what it's for. If Vince wants to come back, The Rock is the placeholder to bring him back. That's all it is. And it's also somebody that he trusts to do things the way he would want it done.
Yeah, and there's a reason why a lot of these old school wrestlers have that relationship with Vince McMahon. And another reason is Vince McMahon to The Rock and to a lot of these guys, they're the father figure to he's a father figure to them. He's like the father they never had, even though a lot of them had their fathers. And and to me, it's just funny how your son-in-law who married your daughter into the business, your son-in-law was your champion, your son-in-law wanted to work with you, stunt under you, learn the business under you, and he did all that. You show him the ropes, but you didn't turn to him when things were getting hard, where you need that extra spark. You didn't turn to your son-in-law, you turned to The Rock.
This is purely me speculating, but it's probably Vince thinks that he probably did enough for Triple H to begin with. Do you think Triple H would have had the career he had if he didn't marry Stephanie
Oh
McMahon?
hell no, nah,
Exactly.
nah. And another that,
Exactly.
right? Another that someone has said, through all the bullshit The Rock has been through with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and someone said like they're surprised that Shawn Michaels and The Rock never had a match in WWE, and somebody else said, and it kind of makes sense The Rock is probably one of the few wrestlers who go to Vince saying, "Man, fuck that shit. I'm not doing that. I'm not having a match with these guys. Forget with Shawn Michaels. I'm not having a match with him. All that bullshit they put me through."
I mean, at that point, Sean was supposed to be a different person by then. People have said he was. People have said he wasn't. Whatever. But I could see Rock saying he doesn't want to wrestle.
Oh yeah,
I
and
Rock or Vince McMahon was very loyal to the guys in the '90s that were there in the WWE during the Monday Night Wars that never left. Rock didn't become a star until the tail end of that, but he was there through that. Never left. Undertaker never left. Triple H, he had the whole click issue where all the boys did leave him and Shawn Michaels was untouchable. So shit rolls downhill. So guess what? It falls on Triple H. And maybe that was a little revenge on his part of getting with his daughter, but whatever. But that's probably why The Rock gets a lot of those benefits because he was one of the big stars that didn't leave when everything was going downhill. Undertaker's done interviews where Vince said, if this show doesn't hit, there's no paychecks next week. And, that's when Steve Austin became Stone Cold Steve Austin instead of the Ringmaster. And The Rock went from being Rocky Maivia to The Rock. And people started getting what they wanted to do. Vince stopped directing characters per se, because if you remember the mid 90s, you had Doink the Clown, you had Steve Lombardo being the baseball guy where he came out painted up like a baseball, and Gobbledygooker, and all these like actual stupid characters. And then Vince started letting people be what they wanted to be, which was themselves, just turned up to an extreme volume. And that's when the Monday Night Wars shifted, because that's what WCW was already doing. And the more talented company won.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for today. It's been a good 2025 for a lot of us. Some of us were just getting started. Me and Jamie gonna take this show to another level in 26. And
Yes, sir.
And another thing about 2025, I want to say, fuck you. I'm glad you're gone. 26, it's gonna be something different. It's gonna be something special. So while we get ready to watch the Michigan and Texas Longhorn game, I don't know how excited I am about to watch it, but hey.
There's like 15 guys not playing for Michigan, so.
15 guys today. About 50 of them be in the transfer portal by tomorrow morning. By the end of the game.
All right.
That's been the Signature Adventure Podcast. DS Walk, tag team partner Jamie. We up out of here.